sometimes the different perspectives that developers and customers have of the system goes down as humor. But I do believe that this is a much more serious matter than many think. Here is how a developer typically envisions a software system. It's a staked collection of neatly separated layers, and here is how users see the same system. The entire system is what they see and can interact with. It's the interface and the experience that results from there. Everything else is, at most, an invisible form of black magic. Yet, as developers and architects, we often laugh at this different perspective, but keep on ignoring it. Let me give you another example. Imagine that software is like carrots. How would you expect the carrot to grow? If you are a developer, then it's all about the taproot, which grows invisible downward in the soil. You focus on the edible part of the carrot, which to your own eyes is the core of the system, and don't pay much attention to leaves. But if you are a user or a designer, things would probably go the other way around. You focus on leaves and ignore the taproot. In the real world, instead, leaves and taproot are equally important and grow together, according to fixed rules. UX-driven design just aims at mimicking the behavior we observe in the real world. User experience is a very, very popular expression these days, and it is often mistaken for a synonym, which is user interface. User experience is simply the experience that users go through when they work with the system. Regardless of the applied user interface, you want the experience to be as pleasant as possible. Pleasant experience passes certainly through a nice user interface, but more importantly, it passes through effective workflows. When it comes to the design of the front end, a few terms are often used interchangeably. Let's clarify their common meaning. A sketch is a freehand drawing, typically done to jot down and fix ideas as they come, whereas a wireframe is a more precise and in-depth sketch that contains a lot more details of the screen, specifically information related to layout, navigation, and actual content. A wireframe doesn't include any graphical elements. Finally, a mockup is a wireframe with some sample user interface attached, including colors, background, images, effects, and so forth. Sometimes wireframes are not enough, and customers want to see some action, namely some running code. A proof of concept is the result of a small coding exercise aimed at verifying the goodness of an idea or the truthfulness of an assumption. A prototype is something more sophisticated. It's a true fake system that simulates the behavior of the real system to be built. The front end is true and real. The back end is a stub. Because of this, it's usually quite fast to write and edit. In this context, another common term we may hear sometimes is a pilot project. A pilot is something totally different. It's a production-ready system just tested against a subset of the intended audience or the intended data set. When you go with a UX-driven design methodology, you use sketches to initially gain a basic understanding of requirements. Next, you go with basic prototyping, achieved usually with wireframes, essentially more detailed sketches. When this is not enough and more advanced prototyping tools are required, you go and create quick codeless programs that show users how it would really work. As you may have understood already, UX-driven design requires ad hoc tools, but the great news is that such tools exist, and more, they have been around for quite some time already. Here is a list of some popular tools. They offer a different range of features and different pricing models, but all of them can be useful to implement a UX-driven design of the system. All of them are great at creating wireframes. Some of them are also able to create prototypes that essentially create storyboards connecting screens together with some simple logic. In particular, with Axure, your deliverable is an up-and-running website that uses canned data to behave like the real one. With it, sometimes the real issue is only telling the customer it was a fake. The next clip is dedicated instead to a demo of what I consider the entry-level tools in the list. Balsamiq